Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Adams Brothers Podcast. We are here for a pop-up podcast. We just got off of a live interview with Mr. Dwight Forrest. He's a candidate for the Broward County Tax Collector. And if you missed the live stream, please go back and watch the playback. And you'll see the playback, and you'll be able to watch and see what the questions that we asked Mr. Forrest. So, by all means, like I said, go back. See it?
And if you missed the playback, you can also go on a little bit later on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right.
And watch the playback on YouTube. Also, go back on YouTube and check out all of our past interviews that we had. So please go back and check that out.
Right. So, like I say, we were just talking to Mr. Dwight Forrest. He's a candidate for the Broward County Tax Collector. He will be running. This is the newly created office that they have created here in Broward County, and they're going to be that person, whoever is elected, is going to be overseeing $6 billion with the B dollars in revenue that's going to be collected, and it'll go up higher and higher. So, welcome to the Adams Brothers Podcast. We are here to talk about a very sensitive and important subject here that a lot of people have been talking about all week, and we've gotten tons of phone calls and texts about the possible sighting of convicted Deerfield Beach serial killer Gary Troutman. He is the devil that was convicted of killing our sister Angela Savage and our childhood friend Cassandra Scott. And over the weekend, we got tons of texts from just about everyone. I mean, we got texts throughout the weekend. Not only this past weekend, but, the weekend before that as well. And we had information that there was some sightings of Troutman here in Deerfield Beach. And everybody was on edge, man. Everybody was scared to leave the house and everything. And wow, it's been one of those weekends, man. So it's been an emotional weekend, man. I tell you, to say the least. For my family, and I'm sure the family of Cassandra Scott as well. Nobody wants to see him back here. I know my family don't want to see him back here, but he's free to go anywhere he wants to go. He could move back here to Deerfield, Pompano, Lauderhill, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Atlanta, wherever he wants to move. He's free to roam wherever he wants to go.
He's under no restrictions, none at all.
No restrictions. And a relative of his, we understand, we know, passed away. And condolences to the Troutman family, man. We love the Troutman family. We love the Troutman family. And they know who they are. They already know who they are. When I say the Troutman family, they know who they are. We don't have to sit here and call the names. You know who we are. Well, I got a little tongue twisted. They know who they are. And we talk to them. And we love them. It's just that one family member that we don't care about. And it is our duty to make sure that when we hear that he is in town, that we have to let the public know and inform them that he may be here. Maybe he wasn't here. I didn't see him.
I didn't see him either, but I got tons of phone calls.
We got tons of phone calls and texts say, hey, man, he's here. We didn't see him. And
police have gotten phone calls too.
Even the sheriff's office, they had gotten calls, and they were on alert. Trust me, they were on alert. And if he was here, if he thought for one moment that he wasn't being watched, he's crazy. Okay, I'm sure all these people that were calling us and texting us, they also called the Broward County Sheriff's Office. And I'm sure that they had detectives and undercovers and everything, everybody you could name, watching out over these past week or so, 2 weeks. So maybe he's here. Maybe he isn't. Some people may say, oh, he isn't here and we didn't see him. That's a bunch of lies. But hey, maybe he wasn't here. But we did have some people that we believe that are credible, that they gave us some credible information. Sightings.
They swear it was him. Some people
swear it was him.
Some people said that's his nephew.
Some people said it was his nephew.
We don't know. We're not saying that he's here, but you got people like Daryl said, swear. Longtime people swear that was him. They looked him right in the eye.
Right.
So just be careful.
Just be careful, because he was possibly sighted here at Deerfield Beach, and we all know what he's capable of doing, because he's done it. He's gotten convicted of both murders.
He's gonna kill again,
and he has served prison time for not one, not two, not three, but 4 murders that we know of. And those 4 murders are 2 young black pregnant women. One of those black pregnant women being our sister. So when he killed our sister, that was two lives he took because she was pregnant. And when he killed Cassandra Scott, that's 2 lives that was taken, that was lost. And he did a total of 22 years in prison for killing 4 people.
He did 9 for Cassandra and 15 for Angela Savage.
That's the biggest pile of BS I've ever heard of in my life. And so many people have been leaving comments like, how is this possible? How is this possible that a person can kill 2 young black pregnant women and only do 22 total years? He only went to prison for Cassandra's murder. He got 25 years off of that murder. And he only did about 8 years in the state? 9 years.
He went in, I believe.
Shouldn't have never even got out of prison. 9 years. For you kill someone, you only get 9 years.
1994. He went in and confessed, I believe it was 94.
Right.
And he was released in 2006. And then he was arrested in 2007 on July 4th, 2007. So
for our sister's murder.
For the murder of Angela Savage. And he was charged then with first-degree murder, and he was facing the death penalty at that time.
And what else was he charged with?
Rape and
kidnapping.
Murder.
But somehow those charges ended up being only second-degree murder. The rape and kidnapping charges were dropped.
Because of statute of limitations.
Because of the statute of limitations.
I don't know if that's changed now. If not, I feel like murder, that should be something that should be forever. Rape and kidnapping should be something forever. It should be a charge not limited through statute of limitations.
Right.
That's just my opinion. I don't know. Maybe it has changed. I'm not sure.
Well, they have to do 80? If you get convicted now, you do 85% of your sentence.
Yes.
Like back then when he committed the murders against our sister and Cassandra Scott, you were only doing maybe 35 or 40% of 25 years, which adds up to 8 or 9 years in prison.
Yeah.
That was the law. back then. If you kill someone, you will only do, if they give you 30 years, you would only do 40% of that 30 years. The laws have since changed now. It's not that way now, but he knew when he was going to court and pimping the justice system that he would only get, and he openly bragged about only getting, I'll be out in 15 years. He said that on the tape when he was talking to the detective.
Frank Ilaraza that
arrogantly saying that he would be out in 15 years.
That was the magic number.
And
15 years was exactly what it was.
Yeah, he got out in 15 years.
So he knew the system. He knew he was one of those, from what we were told, one of those prison lawyers. He coached other people in prison on how to get out. And he openly bragged while he was in prison to prisoners about murdering Angela Savage. And he for some reason, he had a conscience with Cassandra. He went in and he told the police that he was having nightmares, but for some reason, with our sister, he had no remorse, none at all. I mean, the picture that you see on Facebook is him actually walking out the courtroom that day. He looked over at us and laughed. And that's my last visual that I have of him walking out of the courtroom, looking over there at him, laughing. And my deceased brother called him an animal on his way out the door and told him, that he hoped he suffer.
And then the next day, he writes a letter to our mother.
He sure did.
He sends a letter to our mother from the Broward County Jail.
Still taunting the family.
Still taunting the family. He sends a letter. We still have that letter right now today. So if he wants to say, oh, you didn't do it, he's a damn lie. Okay? You did it. Okay? So he sends a letter to our mother, our parents rather. And telling them he wants to see his ex-wife go to jail, and she was involved with it. There's no evidence of that. She was never convicted. Okay, so we want to make that clear. She was never convicted. He was the one that was trying to implicate her, but she was never arrested. So as far as we're concerned, if she had something to do with it, then she has to face God. She can't win that decision over with God, so she has to face that decision. Not man here on earth can't judge her. Only God can judge her from the time that they didn't arrest her on up until the day she leaves this earth. But once she leaves this earth, if she was involved, if
the cops believe she was involved,
then she has to face God.
The detectives believe that. They just don't have no evidence to prove it. And I know I heard people inside the family say they don't believe she had anything to do with it. And maybe she didn't. Like Daryl said, there's no evidence to show that she was involved. But I would say go back, and there's two things I want to touch on. I want to go back to the letter. In the letter that he wrote to my mom, he wrote that he wanted them to come to prison to see him. He claimed he wanted my mom and dad to come to the jail and talk to him, but they wouldn't allow it. But he claimed he wanted my parents to come talk to him, and he wanted to tell them what my sister said before she was murdered. Now, if you're going to tell me that's not taunting, that's not taunting the family there, who does something like that? And that his ex-wife wanted to harm my nephew, Dwayne, but he stopped her. I can say the detectives that originally worked the case, they believed that his ex-wife had involvement in it. They just couldn't prove it. And we don't know. And I mean, we have no evidence of it.
I
know what my heart of heart tells me, but that's just me. But like Daryl said earlier, if she was involved, she has a day of reckoning.
She has to face God, and that's a judge, jury that you can't beat right there. Okay, if she has something to do with it, she has to be held accountable for that in front of God. Okay, you can't beat him. So you might be getting away with it here on this earthly side, but you got a whole hell to put you in if you were involved. I can tell you that much.
And you know what he told the detectives in the case about why he killed Cassandra was that his ex-wife was seeing someone in the neighborhood, and being that this guy was seeing Cassandra, that was his way of paying the guy back. And I don't want to call his name. People know who I'm referring to right now. Yeah. Everyone that in that time that grew up down there know who I'm talking about. The guy that was seeing Cassandra and who she was pregnant by at that time. And that was Gary's way of getting back at the guy for allegedly seeing his wife while he was locked up. So he told the detectives, it's on tape. I'm not making anything up.
Yeah,
I have the whole audio tape. But he told the detective that was why he killed Cassandra. Right. So this is not me speculating. This is out of the killer's own mouth of why he killed Cassandra. But he always denied that he killed my sister Angela. So, but you go back and you look. If you go back and you really take a hard look at that case, I don't believe in my heart of heart Cassandra or Angela would have went to Gary. I have no doubt in my mind.
Not our sister.
That some female
lured her.
That she knew, called both of them and lured both of them to their death. I have no doubt about that in my mind.
And he ambushed him from behind with a necktie. A tie that a man uses with his suit. He admitted that it was a red necktie that he used to strangle them to death until they defecated on themselves. And, you know, I guess that scene, that from that scene stuck in his head, you know, for the rest of his life, and he couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
And I hope it bothers him and haunts him for the rest of his damn life.
I know the detective told us when he spoke to him at the Everglades Correctional Center back in December of 2022, that he told us that Gary was shaking uncontrollably, like he had Parkinson's or like he had some type of neurological problem going on. I don't know how true that is. I had people tell us that they saw him in a wheelchair in East Point, Georgia. I don't know how true that is. I wasn't there.
Yeah, we didn't.
I have not seen him. I just know we were under the impression that from what people told us that he was pretty much, you know, incapacitated, that he couldn't get around like, you know, like people were saying that they saw him.
Nothing wrong with his trigger finger.
No, it's nothing wrong with his hands. There's nothing wrong with his hands.
He can still use a necktie,
too.
A necktie to sneak up behind pregnant women and choke them. He could probably still do that.
You know,
but he'd never do a man like that. He'd sneak up behind, you know, young pregnant women and take advantage of them. And that's what happened.
And he bragged about to the detective on the murder tape. He bragged about how he had specialized training, and which we were told that he brags to family members about his specialized training in jungle warfare, which we saw that. We saw his records where he did have specialized jungle warfare training when he was in the U.S. military in the early 1980s, somewhere around maybe late 79, between 79, I believe, and maybe 1982 or 83 that he was in the military. We saw all of that. So we know he do have specialized training as far as strangling people and killing people with chicken wire. And he bragged all about that.
Openly
he bragged about being trained to kill with chicken wire. Right. So this guy's a trained killer. He's no amateur now. I mean, I believe he's killed more than Cassandra and Angela. The Georgia police, the other detectives believe that those two are not the only victims that Gary has killed before. I believe in my heart of heart he has killed before. I mean, I don't know. We hear different things. I know I can say this. He have eyes on him, whether he know it or not. And he will probably always have eyes on him.
Oh, yeah.
I can assure most people that. So I don't know whether that was him here in Deerfield Beach. Like I say, a long time people swear that it was him.
Yeah.
And a lot of people swear that was his nephew.
Right.
Like, again, we don't know.
We didn't see him. So
if you encounter him, fight to the death. Fight.
Send your location to someone,
fight.
Take a picture, scream. If you are exercising your Second Amendment, use it. That's all I can tell you.
Fight.
If you're just joining us, we are talking about the possible sighting of convicted Deerfield Beach serial killer Gary Ulysses Troutman. He was possibly sighted in Deerfield Beach here just recently. And we got a ton of phone calls here. We got a ton of texts. My whole family. Hey, he's here. I just saw him. I just saw him riding a bicycle. I just saw him here, So our phones went crazy over the weekend, and I just went right about my regular daily routines. So I didn't, don't faze me. We don't want anybody to touch him or anything. Don't go out and try to take justice in your own hands. Again, that's another devil that has to face God. He's going to burn in hell for what he did to our sister and Cassandra. So let's read some of these comments in here right quick. Pamela Graham is watching, going Sosa, Mark Bryant, Panky. Hey, what's up, Panky? Erica Smith, Jamie Just Right, Stacy Cunningham, Erica Yorker, Cassandra, Sandra Cheatham, Sonia Johnson, Edward. Hey, Sonia. Emilia Ferris, Matthias, Bobhead, Marlise Days. Sandra Cheatham said, the system failed, y'all.
Yes, it did.
It did.
Failed the Scott family, too. Failed all of us in Deerfield Beach.
Right. Hey, Keisha, Sandra Cheatham said, that's insane. Judy Wilson is watching. Marlise Days says, I know someone that was sentenced to 30 years for mortgage fraud. 30 years, and
30 years.
You can kill 4 people and do 22, 23 years and be out. Hey, Tyrone Hills, Anita Burns, Erica Times McKeever, Victoria Jones, Sedelia Glinton, classmate. Hey, Sedelia. Hey, Alice Pullum, Stephanie Knowles, Economy Detailing, Pastor Honor. Tyrone Hill says, it's his nephew, David. He stops and talks to me when I'm outside. So Tyrone Hill said it's his nephew, David, that stops and talks to him when he's outside. So
that's what we heard.
We're hearing it was David again,
I don't want to call no name, but we heard.
Yeah, we didn't want to call his name, but people were, they were calling left and right saying that was him. Maybe he looks like Gary, his cousin. Maybe he looks like him. So,
but you had a lot of people who've been here a long time. They swear that it was Gary. So, I mean, I had one person this morning tell me they know Gary.
They know it for a fact.
And they know that it was him. So, I mean, again, I hear what Tyrone is saying. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't see him.
Maybe he was here because his brother, Mr. Sanders, a very good man, a close friend of our father's to the day he died. He passed away. So maybe he did. Maybe he came in, at night or whatever, and he was here, and and he just eased out of town, and maybe some people saw him briefly. Maybe some people didn't. I don't know. But if he was here, we got a lot of calls. The Broward County Sheriff's Office got a lot of calls, and they didn't. Even the Broward County Sheriff's Office, they didn't deny that he was here. Yeah. They just said simply, and this is a quote, that we are monitoring him. That's what they said. Now that came from the Broward County Sheriff's Office. Maybe he was here. Maybe he wasn't. We don't know. But it is our duty for the rest of our lives to make sure he better not ever let us find out where he's living. So we will put him on blast. And we heard that he sent word saying to keep his name out of our mouths. Well, I can tell you, Gary Troutman, that ain't gonna never happen. Make us keep your name out of our mouth. How about that?
And it's almost the anniversary of my sister's murder. She was kidnapped on March 17th. So what the day is, the 11th? So yeah, she was kidnapped on March 17th at around, she was last seen at Imogene store up on the front street. Everybody remember Imogene store?
Eugene Clemens was his real name. Everybody called him Imogene. Yeah,
Albert Clemens store used to be old Mile Pool's old store back in the days. That was the last place she was seen on March 17th at around. My sister saw her. My sister Marva, rest in peace. My sister Marva was talking to Angela around 12, between 12 and 12:30. Marva was talking to her, and she went on up to the store and she told Marva she will be back. Marva waited. She was pregnant at that time, and she was pregnant with, I believe, Chris. She was pregnant with my nephew Wiggy, who y'all know as Wiggy at that time. And so Marva waited for Angela to come back, and she never came back. And the ironic thing is, she came in the store. Everyone saw her in the store. Y'all remember Red? Red was in the store at the time, and Red, I don't know Red name. If y'all know Red name from Albert Clemens store, Imogene, put Red name in the chat. I can't remember Red's name. Good man. I grew up watching Red. Everyone down there in that area knew Red. He worked in Albert Clemens store, but Red saw her, and she had baby Dwayne with her, and she went back walking. So we know for a fact that when she came down where we used to live at. Anybody that remember the Adams, remember we lived directly behind the Diamond Club. It was 2 wooden houses directly behind the Diamond Club, to the west of the Diamond Club. And we believe that Angela came down that street, which is where everybody in that area knew, like going to Darwin right now, everybody knew where Miss Edith Bowes lived at. And to the west of Miss Edith Bowes was at the times was the Bailey's rental house where Art Moat was living there at one time. Everybody remember Art Moat, and all of them used to live in the little house. And somewhere Gary, after Art Moat left, Gary and his wife moved in the house. So we believe that Angela walked, that is First Terrace, Southwest First Terrace. If you walk in South, you can see Darwin's restaurant. And we believe that as she got right there between where the back of the Bailey's house is at, that Gary came through the path. We have no doubt Gary came through the path, because if you come through that, his assistant, whoever that is, came through the path, and he or she came through the path. We more or less believe it was definitely someone that my sister knew real good, and called her, and she came up to the house. And at that point, the same way he described how he murdered Cassandra Scott was the same way he got my sister and disabled her. We know he hit her with a blunt object that almost crushed her skull. It's like he stabbed her with a screwdriver. Yeah. I have the autopsy photos. If y'all ever saw the autopsy photos, I tell you what, you won't be able to sleep at night like I did. I hate that I ever looked at those photos. I mean, the ligature marks on her neck is so deep. He almost decapitated her. I mean, if you was to see the ligature marks on her neck, they are at least an inch deep of the ligature marks in her neck. So he stabbed her in the head. He hit her in the head, and he cracked her skull when he hit her. And then he continued to torture her. He tortured her. I mean, if you look, she got all kind of marks on her lips. She have all kind of, her face is swollen on the actual autopsy photos. And man, he brutalized her beyond what any human being.
She fought back. You could tell she fought back. Our sister was strong as an ox, man. Not both of us back then, we couldn't handle her. She would sling us all over the place, because that's how we know that one person couldn't do that to her. Okay. And we know, I mean, the first time I ever saw those photos of her laying dead down on the ground, we were up in New York City. We were getting ready to shoot the video do the documentary with Paula Zahn. Everybody knows who Paula Zahn is. She's on the ID and Discovery Channel and Oxygen. We're getting ready to tape the episode of the murder of our sister, and the detectives were sitting over there looking at the photos.
I had them.
Wayne had the photos.
And I showed them to my niece Stacy too.
Stacy looked at them. Wayne looked at them. The detectives looked at them, and I said, "You know what? Let me see them. I've never seen these photos before." And mind you, I hadn't gone in and interviewed with Paula Zahn yet. And I tell you, man, when I looked at those photos and seen her laying on the ground dead, with her mouth open and
blood running out of
her mouth, and just how they had torn her clothes off of her. I got so angry, man. I just lost it. When I went in the interview with Paula Zahn, my mind was blank. I don't know if you ever watched the interview with Paula Zahn, because it still comes on the ID and Discovery Channel.
And they will show it this month. They always show it in March.
All the time.
Every anniversary they show it.
Right.
Look for it in the next few days.
Right. And it comes on there all the time. And that was the first time I had saw the photos of our sister. And my mind went blank, man. When they were interviewing me, I couldn't think of anything. Some people say I did good. I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
You don't never want to see those pictures. If I showed y'all those pictures,
yeah.
Let me tell you something. You would not be able to sleep at night.
You wouldn't be able to sleep,
because if you see what they actually showing, and y'all excuse me, but I have to put it.
It's
that
a little
way,
graphic, so if you don't want to hear it,
they showed the actual pictures where they pulled her skull back, pulled her skin back over her skull, and you can actually see the crack marks on her skull. You can actually see where he poked her, looked like he was stabbing her repeatedly in the head and over her body with looked like a blunt object, some type of screwdriver, but he cracked her skull, and we believe that was what knocked her out when he first hit her. But if you see the ligature marks around her neck, if you see all the ligature marks, they're very deep.
You won't ever forget it.
You won't never ever forget that. And just like I told you, to look at the actual photos of her laying there with her skull pulled back. And then I hear people say, you should leave it alone or just forget. It alone.
Yeah.
You, let me tell you something. When you look at those photos, you can't forget that. I couldn't sleep for at least a week. I tossed and turned. I walked the floor. I hate to God that I ever looked at those pictures, because it still haunts me right now to see your sister laying there with a skull and her chest cut open, and to see the marks of this guy, how he tortured her. They should have strapped that guy to the electric chair 30 years ago. And to watch him sit in court
and laugh at the family
and
laughed at us. Go back and look at the photo that we posted on our page. That was him when they sentenced him. He was walking out the courtroom. He turned around, looked at our whole family and laughed. And then the next day, he turned around and sent my mom a letter, my parents a letter from jail with all these demands and this and that, and basically taunting my mom and dad.
Which he taunted them with the phone calls.
Right.
When he first killed her, when he first murdered Angela, he was calling the house 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, the night she was missing, asking, where's Angela? The night she was missing, and then they'll hang up. And then he continued to taunt the family well after she was murdered. He continued to taunt our family with the phone calls. I guess my sister must have gave him the phone number. I mean, she probably thought she was gonna live. He probably told her he wasn't gonna kill her, and she gave him the phone number, but he continued to call and taunt the family.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know how that feels. Y'all don't know. That's all I say.
Some things that you don't know, and then some people will say, well, why don't y'all just leave it alone? Man, look here. This is me looking right into the camera. We are never going to leave it alone, bro. Okay? We are never going to leave it alone. Okay? We hear that he's in Deerfield or Pompano or Fort Lauderdale or where he's living anywhere in this country. We're going to let you all know.
Whether it's him or not.
Whether it's him or not. Because someone left a comment on there the other day that said, man, if he try that these days with these women these days, these women got something for him.
And I hope
they do.
I hope they smoke him.
I hope they do, We're not going to touch him. We're not going to confront him in any kind of way. If I see him, long as he don't touch me or say anything to me, I'm fine. It's not me. I'm not the one that's going to have to judge him.
I don't fear him either.
He's going to burn in hell with gasoline draws on. That's what he's going to do. Okay. So, hey, it's a lot of things that you all don't know. People can say anything. Bertha Chapman said people can say anything because it's not their family members. Of course, they can say anything. They don't know the autopsy photos that we saw. They don't know the gruesome photos that we saw her laying on the ground and this and that. They don't know the phone calls that we got.
And they don't know the suffering that my mom. Plenty of days my mom crying. That's what I want you all out there to picture y'all mom, and a lot of y'all mom might be passed on. But I want y'all to put that in your memory of when your mom was here and something like that happened, how your mom would feel. My mom and my sister share the same birthday. So every year my mom share her birthday, she can't share it with my sister because she's gone. And Gary took her. Gary took, my sister left two kids, two small kids, a 6-year-old and a 6-month-old. They had to grow up without a mother. And I mean, look at that. I mean, for everyone who always saying about forgiving him, I got moved on past Gary, and I have. I say that I have moved on past him. I'm not gonna forget.
But when we hear that there's a sighting of him, what are we supposed to do? Not say anything, or are we supposed to inform the public that he's not a man, a mad evil devil is possibly in this city, maybe ready to strike again.
He's gonna strike again. Y'all remember?
Kill again.
Y'all in East Point, Georgia, Baldy,
East Point, Georgia.
Everyone up there in that area better watch out because he's gonna strike again. Y'all remember what I'm saying?
We still here. We hear he's still making babies too.
Y'all just remember he's gonna strike again.
Yeah, he's still making babies from what we hear. So can't be nothing too much wrong with him.
He's gonna strike again. So, he has a killer instinct in him. He tasted death, and it's like a thrill to him. So Gary's gonna kill again. Everybody keeps saying how he's gonna kill again. Well, he did it. He did it twice right here in Deerfield Beach.
Basically got away with it. We're doing only serving 22 years in prison. Jamie just said, continue to inform the public. We will, Jamie. And what did Jamie said? I hate the Adams Scott family had to endure this. Willie Man says, I pray I never see him again.
Yeah. We don't like talking about this. I know I don't. Yeah. I hate to have to come on here and talk about it. We
got so many texts and calls this weekend that we had to
address
come on here and say something, man. We have a responsibility to our sister to inform the public wherever we know that he's at. And if he don't like it, then move to Baghdad, Iraq somewhere. Move over to Russia. If you don't want nobody to know nothing about you, move to one of these communists. Move to North Korea. Okay? But as long as you here in the United States of America, we're going to put you on blast, bro.
And he will always go down
promise.
in
That's
history.
A promise.
He will always go down in this city's history as it being one of the darkest days of our history here in Deerfield Beach. I mean, to go kill two pregnant women. One of them, his classmate. My sister was his classmate.
That he claimed that he didn't know. He had no knowledge of.
He had no knowledge.
He didn't know her.
And he lived down the street from us.
Down the
we could walk out our house back in the days and look down the street, and he was living there. We saw him walk by so many different times. I mean, we had always saw Gary back in the days. Who would ever believe that he would have murdered our sister?
Yeah.
You just never know the people. Sometimes you think you know people and you really don't know people, and just don't put anything past. I know what the people in the chat saying that it was his nephew, but I'm quite sure he comes here. He comes. I'm quite sure he comes back and forth here at some point. At some point, killers want to show their face and show that they're not afraid and no one's gonna keep them away from here. He's gonna come back. At some point he's gonna get healed. I mean, like I said, we were told he was shaking uncontrollably, that he had something neurologically wrong with him. I don't know.
This is one of the detectives that saw him and visited him before he left prison.
And he confessed. he knew he couldn't get tried again.
Double jeopardy. He couldn't be charged with double jeopardy because he confessed.
Yeah. He finally confessed.
Well, I mean, what more could you say? He confessed. And, so again, what do you want us to do? Just drop it? Nah, we're not going to drop it. You might as well not watch this podcast again, because if we see him 100 more times, you're going to see 100 more podcasts, pop-up podcasts on him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like Daryl said, people were calling us. So regardless of whether it was his nephew or not, it was a public concern about it. So that's what we here addressing right now. Like I say, we don't know. If you go look at the post on our Facebook page, it said allegedly that he was here. I mean, we don't know. I just tell people, don't let your guard down.
Yeah. Just be cognizant of your surroundings when you're out.
When you're going home at night.
Exercise your Second Amendment. It's one of your Bill of Rights. Exercise your Second Amendment. You see all these women these days now, they going to the range and all of this and that. Hey, you have a right. Florida's a stand your ground state. Protect yourself, protect your family, whatever you have to do, man, because this is a cruel, cruel world that we live in right now, man. It's
a take no prisoner world.
They don't care about killing people at all.
Women, be careful.
Reckless displays of life is shown every day on TV.
Y'all watch y'all daughters, y'all watch y'all mothers, grandmothers, sisters, aunts. Don't take this lightly. I hear what everybody's saying, but that's the time a killer strike, when he thinks that he has lured everyone to sleep. Right. Just be careful, everyone.
And we want to thank everybody, man, that's been calling us, man, and everybody that continues to rock with us, man, and support us, man. You already know how we roll here on the Adams Brothers podcast. We're gonna give it to you raw, straight up. You might not like how straightforward we are, but that's who we are. That's the only way we know how to be. And when we hear information like this, it is our duty to let you all know. We pride ourselves in letting the public know and keeping the public in the know and informing the public and keeping them updated on what we see. Because a lot of people might not, they might be out of town or whatever, but hey, man, just continue, man, to rock with us, man. We wanted to come on here and jump on here and tell you about, I know a lot of you guys, the post that we put up was shared over 200 and something times, maybe close to 300 times now. And rightfully so. So thank you, man. All I can say is just say thank you, man. We don't want to drag this out all day and all evening and everything, but we want to thank you all for rocking with us, man. And we really appreciate you all. All of our friends up there in East Point, Georgia, man, thank you all for continuing to rock with us, rock with our channel here, man. Thank you, man. And I think that's about it. We came on here specifically to talk about Troutman and to let you all know. And again, man, I can't say this enough, man. We love that Troutman family. I have their numbers, personal cell phone numbers. I call them, I tell them, I love them. I send them, they send that love right back, and they genuinely mean it too. You know what I'm saying? So to the Troutman family members that, that we talk to and hey, man, even the ones that we don't talk to, man, we don't have any against them. We don't have any hate against any of you all, man.
No hate. Never hate.
Look at those autopsy photos and look at the photos of her laying on the ground, and you think that a person could just drop this. And I know some of the pastors out there say, I just give it to God and let God handle it.
Been given to God.
It's been given to God a long time ago.
30 years now.
It's been given, but does that mean you should never ever talk about it again?
30-some years we gave it to God. That's how our trust in God
turned it over to God a long time ago.
Got us the arrest, got us where we are right now.
Continue to talk about this until the day that we leave here, and that's a promise. So,
and you know, again, it's March. I mean, every year this time rolls around every year.
He murdered her in March.
He kidnapped her on March 17th.
Yeah.
He murdered her the next morning.
Right.
I mean, so every March, every birthday, my mom's birthday, we have to watch our mom sit there and cry every freaking year.
Yeah.
On her birthday. I mean, every freaking year in March, we have to go through this same stuff to relive all of this again. I mean,
even the Broward Sheriff's Office says, man, I'm so sorry, man. Your family has to go through this.
Yeah, they told us that.
They told us that just recently, man. You know, so kudos to your Broward County Sheriff's Office, man, Sheriff Tony.
Few texts that we got, a lot of texts we got from
the command staff here in Deerfield. People, you know who you are.
From the sheriff department.
Thank you all, man, for always, you know, for keeping this city safe, man. You guys keep up the good work. You know,
read some of the messages.
Some of the messages. Let's go back and read some of the comments right quick. Blah 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 blah. Hello, Beverly Glinton. That's your classmate, huh? Beverly Glinton.
Beverly Glinton is my classmate. Her brother, Beverly. I believe, Alfred.
I just saw Alfred here.
I haven't saw Alfred in probably about.
I saw him about 2 months ago.
10 or 12, 13 years.
We actually took a picture. I took a picture with Alfred. So,
yes.
Hey, Beverly. Willie, man, I'm on the lookout for him. Trust and believe. Sonia, Tez Blackshear, Mary Cheatham. Hi. Judy Wilson says, thanks for the info. You're welcome, Judy. Mitchell Smith. Hey.
Beverly Armstrong.
Cerise Henry. Willie Man, Layla Williams, Judy Wilson said they are both my classmates. I grew up across the street from Gary. All I can say is thank God. I'm sorry for y'all loss. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judy.
Thank you, everyone. We trying to move past this too.
Yeah.
I mean, believe me, we
She Petty.
We don't like talking about
this.
Hey,
She Petty. Calandra Jones saying, hey, Calandra. Clarence Honor, Reverend Honor, our pastor say, my brother, giving things to God doesn't take away your feelings. It sure doesn't.
No, it don't.
Because again, when you talk to a lot of pastors, they'll say, well, just let God handle it. Well, we gave it to God years ago. But again,
that's why he got arrested.
When we start getting all these calls, we're not supposed to talk about it. That's why we got this podcast. You know how many lives this podcast has changed? We had a true crime podcast. We did a true crime podcast here, and we were just told that there is an arrest that's imminent. And that's all we can say without giving out any other information, just because of this podcast. Because if it hadn't been for this podcast, it wouldn't have been any movement on that cold murder case. So we are making a difference here.
Thank you, Mitchell Smith.
At this podcast. Prayers, guys. Thank you, Mitchell. Todd Portel. Hey, Todd. Calandra Jones says hello again.
Yeah, we got a lot of good, interesting things coming up with our true podcast.
Yes, we do.
Crimes here in Deerfield, murders that happen here in Deerfield that a lot of y'all probably have forgotten. Believe me, we're on it. We're just waiting. We're waiting on some things right now with the sheriff department, but we're on it. We're going to have a lot of good things. That's why, Daryl, like we said, we gave Gary to God long time ago. Trust me when I tell you that. When I was up there on the stand, I wished death on that man up there. And I came home that night and I got on my knees and I prayed to God and asked God to forgive me for saying those things to him, because he was sitting right. He was sitting. I mean, what they do in court, they put them right. It's almost like they taunting you in a way. Right. They put him right there with a deputy shackled up within feet. I mean, I could have leaped out the box and grabbed him, but they're watching you the whole time. I'm not going to lie. I swear to God, I thought about it, but I didn't want to bring no shame to my family. It was 20 or 30 cameras in there. I didn't want to bring no shame, but I wish death on that man. And he wouldn't dare look at me and Daryl. You know, my mom and dad got up on the stand and my mom told him, looked him right in the face. and told him she forgive him. She said, Gary, I forgive you. You need to find God. I hope you find God. My mom looked this animal in the face and told him that.
Yeah.
And he still walked out the courtroom
and laughed right after that.
And laughed.
After he got 30 years in prison, he knew he was only going to do. He had been in the county for 8 years. He knew he was only going to prison for like 6 or 7 years. Yeah. And that is exactly how many years he went to prison for. And he was out. And that's why he laughed in our family's face.
Laughed, man.
Laughed. When I tell you, go back and look on our page right here.
The video
There's a picture of him in a prison in a county suit with a deputy walking behind him. He's looking back with this smirk on his face. He laughed at us.
He laughed. And then y'all be talking about all that forgiveness. Man, y'all go somewhere with that. If they kill y'all mama or your daddy or your sister or your brother or your daughter, I want to hear about all that forgiveness there. Yeah, you're going to forgive after a while. But at that point, when you up there doing your victim's impact statement, you ain't thinking about no forgiveness. You're thinking about wanting to jump across there and kill Gary over there. That's what you're thinking about. And that's what I thought about that day.
Yeah. I said some things to him on that stand that I kind of regret I said to him. I didn't use profanity or anything, but I said some very harsh words to him. And sometimes you say things when you just
angry,
you might be a little angry and emotional.
Yeah.
And I said some things to him that I regret.
I regret it.
And I have since retracted one of the things that I said to him, because one of the things that I wished on him, it hit my family. And it made me rethink what I said to him.
He's still a murderer, though.
But he's still a convicted murderer. So one of the things I said to him, I do wish I hadn't said it, but I said it. Would I say it again right now? No, I wouldn't say it again. But I did retract that, and I changed my thinking on how I felt. And a lot of it was emotion, like I said.
So that's God. Y'all on there talking about changing and God, that's God what Daryl talking about, because we both went at him that day in the courtroom. That was God. That the things we said that day. And Daryl, I mean, some of the things I that's between me and God. What I retracted with God. I don't owe nobody out there no explanation.
No, we don't, what we've been through, we say things, and a lot of us, we're human. We're not perfect. There's only one perfect man I know, and that's God. So we're here on this earth, man. We say things. We're not perfect. I don't care who you are. You could be a rock star pastor. We are all under construction. We still have some little things that we working on and trying to change in our lives. I don't care how old you are, how young you are. We still have some things that we can change and work on.
Yep.
And that was one of the things.
Both of us trying.
Yeah, we change. We try not to be the same men that we were yesterday. So, with that being said, we want to thank you all. We don't want to come on here and just drag it out too long, but we want to thank you all, man. I
got to say one more thing too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Also, I was just looking at the news earlier. I want to congratulate Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary left the Houston Texans in free agency, and he went with the Giants. He signed a 3-year deal for $19.5 million. Congratulations to that.
Kudos to you.
Congratulations to Motor. Congratulations to Brina, the whole family. Congratulations to y'all. I'm so glad and so proud.
It's for you, Devin Singletary here. I'll give you some hand claps right here.
The Giants. 3-year deal, $19.5 million. Congratulations, Devin Singletary. We wanna leave this on a good note here for Deerfield Beach.
Yeah. Good note. So we got some people here doing some good things here in Deerfield Beach, not murdering people. They running the football, taking care of his mama Sabrina, and then Devon over there.
Miss Candy, everyone, we love y'all.
We love that Brooks family over there. Singletary family, man.
God bless y'all.
You from Deerfield, exit 42. Stay strong. Stay strong. Deerfield strong, exit 42. We love you all, man. Thank
y'all
you
go
all.
over there and check out Nuki's Sauce. Like I say, we're gonna leave this on a positive note.
Yeah.
Y'all go over there and check out Nuki's Sauce. Valerie Brooks, Nuki. She has some of the best sauce with her, Link Mooney, and a lot of other people in Deerfield Beach. Y'all go over there and check her sauce out. She be selling sauce on Friday and Saturdays. Y'all go over there and check it out. Valerie gives you a big cup for $10.
Yeah,
You'll love it.
That's right. So go over there and check out girl Valerie Brooks out. Go over there and check Robert Link Mooney out. Everybody know Link Mooney here in Deerfield Beach, man. We don't have to go down to the South, man, in Pompano. We got the South right here in Deerfield
Beach.
We got some good Black-owned restaurants and Black businesses right here in Deerfield Beach, man. And that's like we shouting you out right here on the Adams Brothers Podcast. We want to thank you all for rocking with us. Thank you all for rocking with this channel. We love you all, man. Thank you for your donations to our podcast, no matter how big or how small they are.
And we're a work in progress still with God.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're under construction. We're trying to do the right thing around here, but thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. We'll be back. I don't think we have another podcast this week, but we will be back next week with some more good news that you can rely on.
And y'all just stay vigilant, whatever. Just regardless of what say, just stay vigilant of everything. And God bless everyone.
Go get you
stay safe.
A fresh box of 9mm bullets and keep them on you.
And a knife and a razor blade.
That's right. And some mace.
Defend yourself at all costs.
Right. Have a good evening, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And thank you for rocking with the Adams Brothers Podcast.
Good evening.